Thank you very much. It's a great honor for me to be able to introduce the Dean of the New York Congressional Delegation, Congressman Charles Rangel, who represents New York's 13th District. He's currently the third longest-serving member of the House of Representatives, and his mind is one of the youngest we have there. He's been in office for over 40 years. He was a founding member of the Congressional Black Caucus. Born in Harlem, Congressman Rangel is a Purple Heart and Bronze Star recipient for his service in the Korean War. After his service, he earned degrees at New York University and St. John's University School of Law and practiced private law before winning a seat in the New York State Assembly in 1967. 3 years later, he was elected to the United States Congress. It's a great pleasure to introduce Congressman Charlie Rangel.
Bertha didn't give me my instructions on time limits, so really, what? Huh? 10? That's good. No, I just have to know. It's always good for a politician to know what group it is so that they can feel whether they're going to have to hold back in terms of getting stones or just being there with friends and seeing how they can be helpful. And when we talk about Soviet Jewry and mention Dr. Martin Luther King and recognize that we had been so closely that one were not identified by race or religion, but by causes that we had. And it was very easy for Dr. King to talk about the persecution of Jews in Soviet Union, even though most blacks didn't even know there were Jews in Russia. But anytime you would talk about the same thing that we had suffered as a people, whether it was Jews under pharaohs or slaves under plantation owners, there's a basic thing that God has given to all of us, and that is knowing what is right and what is wrong. I say so often that I'm fortunate to be a Democrat, and sometimes the Democrats do ask too much for political purposes to serve their own end. But no matter what religion you belong to, whether you're Mormon, Muslim, Catholic, Protestant, Jew, or Gentile, there's some basic things there that makes me so proud to be an American that the president represents. And that is seeking out ways to have peace and not war. There's nothing that bothers me more than to be a part of a government that sends mechanical drones to kill people who we don't know, who don't know us, and we don't have any reason to believe that they are a threat to our national security. But when we talk about affordable health care, is there any religion that says that if you find someone sick, that you shouldn't take a deep breath and try to reach out and see whether you can help them? And some people look at it like Social Security, but when Jesus said he was naked, did that mean that people who needed some clothes, they needed some resources, they needed some help? And when we look at children today that may not be raised in circumstances that we would want, to give them an education is to give them the tools, the key to be able to defend themselves and improve themselves and to make America greater. And of course, there's so many people of European background that have completely forgotten what the Statue of Liberty is all about. They really think it was just for the pilgrims. But every year they're finding out that the luxury of enjoying the feeling of racial superiority because of the color of your skin is just over. And the numbers of people that are coming here for the same reasons that others have come before is for a better way of life. To be able to have the hopes and the dreams to achieve, no matter what your background is. And of course, there's some people in the Tea Party said, I didn't know you meant the brown ones. Yes, the brown and the black and the various colors that God, no matter what country you're in, decided that you were blessed to be a human being no matter where you were born. And so I see my friend here that, I didn't see, oh my God. Oh, Harry Belafonte, how did you do that to me? How do you, I conclude by saying that the feeling that Jews and blacks had during the civil rights moment, and I yield because of the personal sacrifices that the gentleman that I'm talking about, Harry Belafonte, was here, was not I'm doing this because I like you. It was doing this because I like God, I like me, and therefore I have a responsibility to like you because we're all together. Something has happened to that feeling, whether it was riots, whether it was schools, whether it is. But Martin had a fantastic ability to say that wherever people were feeling injustice, whether it was Russia, whether it was in the South, that we all had an obligation to help each other. And I hope that as a result of those people who put this together, that we could find that feeling not with Jews, but with Muslims, with Mormons, with Catholics and whatnot, because I'm convinced, Reverend, without meddling, that when you get up to heaven, there's not going to be a ticket to punch as to what color you are or what religion you are, and therefore we should make the best of what we have now. Seeing Harry Belafonte, I'm going to take the liberty of telling a story that David Dinkins tells, which I think in my case is appropriate, even though the subject isn't. And it involves a minister who heard that when you get to heaven, that St. Peter will allow you an opportunity to tell one of the greatest events that you have, so that you would gain immediate prestige among those who served God and are in heaven. So it was this minister that survived the Johnstown flood, which historically was of a biblical nature. And is that Pastor Forbes? Oh my God, I know I'm in trouble now. But anyway, as the story goes, Pastor, that this man survived this flood. It was a miracle that it happened, and he knew that when he got up into heaven, that he was going to get a chance to call his story. And as St. Peter was introducing him, he just reminded him, I wish you luck on the story of what you've been through, but I want you to know that Noah is in the house. And so whatever you heard from me, Noah is in the house. And I thought they were joking when someone came in with me. He said he came to see Harry Belafonte. I said, I wish you luck. I'm coming to see him too. It is so good to see a man that I don't know how they make saints. People make up how they make saints. But if I can ever find the formula, I know that Harry Belafonte would fit every point that's needed, and he doesn't have to die to be one.
How wonderful was that?
Bertha, could I just say, I think that the idea of broadening the concern of racism as it exists in this country, especially as is indicated by some who's opposing immigration, I think this would be a wonderful issue to bring all people together. Because I can assure you that the opposition to immigration is due to the fact that there are a whole lot of people in certain parts of the United States that really believe that this should be a European country. And if you take a look at the people who fought Lincoln and fought to keep the slaves, and then see that they became Democrats and then Dixiecrats, and then see the civil rights movements move them to the Republican Party, and then see all the good people in the Republican Party, and a handful of them not only demonstrate against this president, but they demonstrate with the Confederate flag in front of the White House. And we all know that in the civil rights movement, if somebody was waving the communist flag, the leaders would say, not at our party, you go around the corner for it. No one stopped those people that's waving the Confederate flag. And I've talked with Demetrius, and he has really made the case for Russian Jews right here in my congressional district. But in answer to the question, why is it that Soviet Jewries would come in here and be called racist? Let me share something. I have no idea that this happens. What I do know is that immigrants who come to this country want so badly to be Americans. And racism is such a strong part of America that they start off hating people that they adored as Americans, but they found out that this is not a popular thing to do. I just left Frederick Douglass at junior high school, which is my alma mater, talking to some kids. And they were so proud that Frederick Douglass, after he was a free man, went to Ireland and spoke about the slavery that the Irish was under the British, and came back and told Americans that it was worse than anything that he'd ever seen in America. So anybody can go to the website and see that in Ireland, Frederick Douglass is considered one of their heroes. But when the potato famine came, and the Irish came to the United States of America, and blacks and children of slaves were being attacked racially, it was the same poor Irishmen that led the fight, because they were white against the Africans. So I cannot begin to tell you, when I was in Korea, how much people loved all American troops that were fighting communism for them. But the names they would call us were derogatory names that they heard American whites call us, and they would say it in such endearing terms. Because they had no idea that the whites meant meanness, and they thought that was American. So I don't know whether Soviet Jews, and I've never heard this before, but wouldn't this be a good time to take the spirit of immigration and to let Americans know that we feel sorry for those who thought that this was a European country. And we feel sorry for those who didn't realize that the Statue of Liberty was colorblind. And that I know they didn't expect for this country to become black and yellow and brown. But damn it, they ain't got no place to go now either. Nobody wants to leave the United States of America. And there are no differences that we have as a people with anybody that's not strong enough to make this country what it should be by showing that we have to stick together. And I'm inspired by the president of a guy that's in this room. I have never been on a platform that he's been in the audience. But have any of you heard of Pastor Bill Forbes, formerly Riverside Church? Would you believe this? Would you believe that? Would you believe that? So I'm going to meet with Demetrius. I'm going to have to leave. But where is this group that you're advocating that we should get together for immigration? Not for Mexicans, not for Dominicans, but for America. I assure you that we in the Congress and the President, we need this so badly. And the Republicans need it because their racist, anti-women, anti-social services stand has ruined them for being a national party in the very, very near future. The one thing that they could do, at least to show that they have some sense in terms of our national security, is to support immigration reform. A handful of people prevent the Republican leadership from even bringing it to the floor.
We have enough Republican votes with Democratic votes to pass it. It's already passed the Senate. But I tell you, if you're depending on the churches, the Catholics and the Protestants and the Jews to do something about it, you're out of business. They used to when they were coming from Europe, and you got inside the church and you had it made. But we have instances. This could be a movement not only to bring us together, but to save this darn country of ours. Because the other countries are catching up and moving ahead. And what has allowed us to be superior in the sense of accomplishment is stealing ideas from people who bring it here from different colors and cultures. I mean, that's what we do. And so, sign me up. And I was telling Harry Belafonte that this morning the question was whether Rangel was running for re-election. And then I woke up and I found out that the petitions for the next year, for the 2014, starts in March of next year. And I just got finished with an election. And we have another one. So I met with leaders from all parts of the district, and I have agreed to run again for the sole purpose of, during these 2 years, to declare that there will be an empty seat there. And because we have a new district, and nobody knows people from other parts of the district, they got 2 years to campaign to get the support and the solidarity, because we are on the brink of what could be a nasty election if people don't know each other. Most people who think they don't like each other don't even know each other. And so it just happened this morning, and I just wanted to say this is not a campaign. People say that they want to know so they know what to do. But the immigration thing is so important, and I just want to have a chance to allow the president to wrap up his 2 years, and I'm going to get with him. Good for you.
Before we leave, I think that we're going to take a photograph.
Okay.